Every day, there is continuous burning and destruction of central forest reserves in the country by encroachers who claim not to know their boundaries. Kagombe Central Forest Reserve, an area of 330 square kilometers in the Kagadi sector, is one of those being destroyed daily. But the delay by National Forest Authority to open boundaries seems to be the root cause of the encroachment and destruction.
We know roughly where the boundaries pass because we use indigenous knowledge. There are people in the villages who have ever worked in these reserves. So we have recruited some of them as patrolmen, and they guide us into where these boundaries pass.
To work with National Forest Authority to ensure that we identify boundaries of these central forest reserves. Because you cannot protect something and you do not know even where the boundaries are.
At this rate of burning, Kagombe Central Forest Reserve is soon getting finished unless serious intervention is done. This means Uganda is fast losing high environment, the natural green cover of indigenous trees and medicinal plants. And for Kagombe alone, almost 50% of this natural forest is completely gone. But where is NFA in all this?
Me and my staff, our hands are tied for sure. One thing is the boundary. According to judge's instructions, this boundary must be opened. And once it is opened, we would know exactly where the boundary line passes, and those who are on the reserve would be told to go out.
After opening these boundaries, then we can be able to organize and mobilize these communities surrounding the Central Forest Reserves to form CFMs. These are collaborative forest management committees. Because these neighbors are the very people supposed to protect these forests.
Encroachment on Central Forest Reserves escalated way back in 2001 after President Museveni gave a green light of the takeover of Butamira Central Forest Reserve in Buyengo Sub-County, Jinja District, which saw other reserves meet the same challenge. But how was Kagombe Central Forest Reserve then, before the encroachers invaded it? A senior citizen in Kibaale District tells of the wonders the forest had in their time.
The 60s, the environment was good because it was cool. The mornings were cool and the afternoons were also cool. You could hear birds singing here and there. Bush animals, bushbacks were there, pigs were there, and people could go hunting for a meal.
This means the country is slowly losing its biodiversity, which helps to keep soil fertility, and yet some are endemic.
With fever, we could use this, we call it locally a kibirizi or mubirizi, and you could just squeeze it. You drink a cup or a glass, and you cover yourself, then you are okay.
And when I talk of biodiversity loss, you can see across, even from where we are. This was a forest. I'm sure there were very many animals and butterflies and bird species here. Now, as of now, since we came, have you seen any other animal? Have you seen any bird? That means they are lost.
Indeed, Kibaale District was once a forested area with massive tree cover in the entire 16 central reserves. But now this is only a regrettable situation as there is a serious timber harvesting, charcoal burning, and a plot sold for food crop cultivation and settlement. This man says he bought 2 acres at 400,000 shillings in 2011.
Era nagula nga bangamba ndi mbuno taka kati bwe namala okugula we nategeera nti no sitaka.
Timber harvesting, however, degrades the forest because people have their preferences of species according to the market in Kampala. But agriculture, like you're seeing, is indiscriminate.
Food crop cultivation is seriously going on here. This man was arrested while harvesting maize, but he denies the maize garden, saying he was only hired. Recently, NFA efforts were frustrated when court put an injunction not to evict encroachers in Kagombe Central Reserve until boundaries are opened. But these have not respected the order.
Where they have gone to intact forests and do fresh clearing like you are seeing there, it gives us now a step to arrest them, thinking they are not obeying the court order.
But boundary opening is at a slow pace, with the contractor, Wemo, opening only 20 kilometers so far out of the 137 kilometers. This gives liberty to the encroachers. Unfortunately, NFA has only one boundary surveyor specialist who sits at the headquarters and cannot easily address this problem.
He needed to be supported by other surveyors. We could get, NFA could get diploma holders in surveying and give to support centers.
Resident District Commissioner Kibaale District Samuel Kisembo Arali is concerned about the salary delays for NFA staff and patrolmen, who he says are demotivated and can easily be tempted into corruption in the forest.
When we say we are carrying out an operation, can we be able to carry out a genuine operation? If this timber is impounded, can they be able to be presented in court and prosecuted?
In an effort to green the environment, the RDC has secured 100,000 tree seedlings to be planted soon. But Kagombe Central Forest Reserve is a water catchment and source for River Muzizi. Unfortunately, this has dried up due to massive tree cutting. Stephen Mwiri, WBS News.